Hey guys, this is Mike the Wrestling God Smith. This video is actually a second part to my prediction, so there's gonna be two for the first half that I already did a day 3 days earlier to pay-per-view. So this is the second part. Like I said, the FTR versus Kenny and Hangman. I really think that it's gonna go either way because, like I said, I'm just getting right into it because you can't. Here's the thing: the Young Bucks are gonna be heels. They're gonna have a chip on their shoulder because of the whole Hangman thing, and I really feel like Hangman's gonna do a heel turn to Kenny, and then leave Kenny in the box and be like, "What are you doing?" Like next week on Dynamite, he's gonna be like, "Oh, what are you doing, man? I thought we were a team," and probably align himself with. I think that's gonna be the inverse because AEW, as much as they're trying to put stock on the Young Bucks and I think they're trying to build the Young Bucks in such a way that they had to, because in order to get the Young Bucks to get the titles, because Tully is right, you can't call yourself the best tag team if you don't have a title, if you don't have the titles. So the thing is, you gotta, you have to. Here's my thing. I think that match is gonna be like at least an 8 out of 10 for me because you have to build. You kind of have to look at it like this. There's too many. There's too many variables because everybody, the Young Bucks and Jungle Express, the Young Bucks are gonna get involved somehow in that main event or in the match for the tag titles because they're probably gonna be like, or AEW or Tony could be like, well, I can make this a triple threat for the tag team titles because I feel like that should be the case. It should be the case because I feel like all the pieces are there for the story, and it's gonna be because the FTR are there to kind of make the story rise. Like it's gonna be a bigger story, and my thought is that even if Kenny and Hangman do win the titles and the Young Bucks start winning, they could go back up the rankings, be number one contender, fight again for the titles, and it'd be a much bigger storyline because I feel like them going up the ranks should be fine. Because they gotta be like number two or number three. They can't be that low. They're not like Private Party. Because I feel like they're gonna do that. I feel like they're gonna go that route because they have to go up. Sorry, they have to go up. I feel like they're better off going up the rankings, fighting Kenny and Hangman at their peak where they're fighting, they're more aggressive. That's what they need to be. They need to throw the friendship out the window. That way on Dynamite they'll be up on the ring. They get to a confrontation. They have a belt. Kenny says you guys are the best team. He makes a promo like you guys are the best team. Like, we became the Elite. We became Bullet Club. We became Golden Elite. We became something better. And I'm thinking they're going to try to do that. I think that's what they're going to do. And the other match, like the Dark Order versus Scorpio Sky, QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and Matt Cardona. I really think Matt Cardona are gonna take this one because I really feel that they're not really going to the Dark Order. The thing about the Dark Order is there's a lot of different feeling that I have for it. There's a lot of different feeling I have, and I have because I'm like, the Dark Order isn't really doing much. I mean, Brody having the TNT Championship would have been fine if he would have won the World Championship, and then that would have elevated them to like new heights. That's what the Dark Order should be. Now that they got more people, they got more members, they've got a bunch of people. That's their biggest thing. And I still feel like that's like that they're gonna lose and they're gonna be like a bunch of fools because they have to. Because the thing about the Dark Order, they're great in numbers, but their faction is just it, it's not working. It doesn't work with me, and I feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Like literally, they should, but they don't. They're not really putting it together as much as I would like them to put it together. They're not. They're kind of doing this. See, And this is the thing I'm thinking about too, because I'm kind of throwing a little bit in my brain, a little bit, just doing a little bit of mental math in this, a little bit in my head. What here's the thing about my mindset right now, and I'm sorry guys, I'm just trying to think of another thought here. I think that they're not really doing anything with Chris Jericho, with the Orange Cassidy Chris Jericho match, because I feel like Orange Cassidy's gonna win. I feel like he's gonna win in the ring. Because the thing is, the Mimosa thing is fine, but he's like, here's the thing I'm feeling Chris Jericho is doing. Chris Jericho is doing the thing I'm thinking he's doing, which is the WCW bit, where he's trying to be like with Dean Malenko, but instead of like him and Dean Malenko, it's him and Orange Cassidy. And I also feel like he's trying to find himself in AEW since he's lost the title, because the Inner Circle has no like goal. They don't. And it's kind of sad because you got the dudes in the Inner Circle. You got Santana and Ortiz. You got those dudes, which they should be going after tag titles like every other tag team, but they're not. They're in a big rivalry with Best Friends, which actually works for them. And I'm feeling like they're not doing that much with them. And I feel like if Orange Cassidy does win, it's going to be in a really kind of a spectacular fashion where that the Inner Circle are going to get involved. They're probably going to get their butts kicked by Orange Cassidy and Best Friends because they're going to get involved at some point. They're going to start fighting. And also, what kind of bothers me a little bit, and I'm kind of going to throw this in, I'm going to throw this in another direction too, because here's my thing about the casino battle royale, because I don't really have a pick, but I know it's gonna be between Darby, Brian Cage, or Ricky Starks, or Lance Archer. And I just feel that Lance Archer isn't gonna be the guy that we need to be champion, because I would love to see it against Mox or MJF if they decide to put him over, which I kind of don't believe that. And this is why I'm kind of throwing this in, guys, a little bit, because the MJF thing, MJF has been wanting that title ever since Mox has obtained it. That's the sad part. He's been wanting it. He has been wanting it. And the thing about MJF is that he wants to be the $1 million man of AEW, because I think he's like a younger version of the $1 million man. I really do. And I think that him and Wardlow, even if Wardlow hypothetically would have won, it would have been a great feud for them, because Wardlow doesn't really do anything. And to kind of go against MJF would be fine because he is a strong individual. He really is. And the thing is, Mox kind of needs somebody to go against. He needs a guy to kind of go against because it would work in his favor. Because MJF doesn't really understand. MJF doesn't understand that when you got Mox in a corner, he's gonna fight you. He's not gonna give up. He's not gonna let you just win. And the thing is, he can't. The one thing he cannot do. The one thing he cannot do, and this is the thing too, is that he's trying to be the champion. And this is the thing with Mox too, is like when he beat him, it didn't really change anything. That's why I feel like they're not doing anything with him. And this is why I'm just like, you know what? This is kind of good for MJF in a way, because he's kind of been on a losing streak. He's kind of been on a winning streak the last couple of months because everything has changed. But here's my thought with this, guys. Like I said, I'm just giving you guys a little bit of an idea of what the big blow, because I'm telling you, the big blow off between Mox and MJF is going to be a classic. If Wardlow, let's just say Wardlow wins, right? He gets a shot at the AEW championship. MJF can get another one, but there would be two number one contenders, because both of them, it would be a triple threat for the title at some point. So the story would actually go MJF, Mox, Wardlow, and if Wardlow won, that means him and Mox could have a great feud, or him and MJF could have a great feud, because you see, in AEW, and this is what I like to call, and I'm gonna make up a law for this. This is the law of the paradigm. This is what AEW does. It flips it. on its head so much that whatever we think is going to happen actually happens, but just in an opposite way. And I feel like they're gonna do something with that because like I said, there's so many people that are in rivalries right now that are in great stories that are actually becoming more of a fact, more of a story. Because you have the Young Bucks, you have the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Adam Page. You have them. You have FTR, which want the titles because of Tully. Tully wants the titles because he doesn't see anything with Shawn Spears, and that's the sad part. You don't see anything with him. So that's what I'm saying. There's so many different variables to consider because, like I said, Hangman and Kenny could just retain the belts, have a big blow off match with the Young Bucks for the titles again because they can challenge them, and I feel like they're gonna end up fighting each other for the titles and making it a title match. Young Bucks win like at Wednesday and finally win the title matches. Then all they gotta do is start a little bit of a rivalry. Then the revival the not the revolt, sorry, another word, I didn't want to use revival. The revolt comes in, fight for they want the Young Bucks. They want the Young Bucks, they want Kenny Omega, they want them. They want the Young Bucks, they also want Santana and Ortiz. They want a bunch of guys to fight. Because they want to prove they are the best tag team. They want to prove that they are good. They want to prove that they can win. See, and that's the problem. They're making everybody else seem losers, but they're not. And then we have a little bit of an idea with Lance Archer. They want to start something with Lance Archer and Brian Cage. And I think that FCW belt really should be on the line because I'm thinking like this guy's like, look, see, this is what I'm talking about too. Brian Cage is great, but he's only great because the fact is he's on Dark. He's not really doing anything. He's not even in the main title picture, which is kind of sad. So is Ricky Starks, because Ricky Starks is great. He's just what an old guy like Taz, who doesn't really know the wrestling business in AEW. He knows ECW, he knows WWE, but he doesn't know. Like, Ricky Starks can come in and just, like, it would be nice because I want to see what Ricky Starks can do, and I kind of want to see them, like, actually give him a little bit of a title shot where he can kind of build a rep to it. And I really think him winning the TNT Championship is going to work because that's going to elevate him to fight Eddie Kingston. That's going to elevate him to fight Cody. It's going to elevate him to do something because he's not really doing anything. And this is what I'm saying with All Out. My math is sound, like I said, guys. I'm just kind of explaining it to you that two things are going to end up happening. Well, five different things are going to end up happening in All Out, and I'm going to tell you this. This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler. So, like I said, my number one thing is that Mox is going to win the title, well, but Wardlow's going to interfere. Wardlow is going to end up winning the Battle Royale because I feel like he's going to be in there. He's going to end up winning. I think number two, my second theory is that Hangman and Adam Page are going to beat the Revolt because they're going to beat them. They're going to retain the title. So I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10 for that. I'm also going to do number three, which is also, I think Matt Hardy's not going to eat a pin to Sammy because, you know why? Because Sammy is a great wrestler, and I'm glad that he actually won a match. I'm actually glad that he's been winning. It's just that I want Sammy Guevara to be elevated. I want Sammy Guevara to be elevated to the status that he needs to be elevated to. And that's kind of the sad part about it, is that I want him to be elevated. I want him to kind of do something, and I want them to do it at All Out. I really want, if he beats Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy's not leaving. He's not. Like, it would be nice if they got Jeff, and it kind of would elevate them into a different way. That way we could have the Hardy Boys, and that would be kind of a big deal because you got the Hardy Boys in AEW, you got them doing something cool. Or the Hardy Brothers. I think the Hardy Brothers would actually be better. I want Broken Matt Hardy. I want them to kind of utilize him. Because I think that's what he's going to tap into. I think he's going to tap into Broken Matt Hardy. I think he's going to tap into Broken Matt Hardy. Then it's going to be Big Money Matt. Then it's going to be EV2 Matt, which I love the fact that he's actually going to do it. But like I said, I really think AEW should give Sammy this win because I feel like they're going to end up doing it anyway. Because that would kind of give Sammy Guevara that platform that he kind of needs to be the Spanish God. And I think that's gonna work. So I think it's either gonna be Matt Hardy's gonna take the winner of Sammy, because Sammy's gonna end up winning, and then they're gonna end up fighting. It's gonna be a bloody match. It's gonna be no holds bar. It's gonna be a really good match. I think Sammy's gonna pull out all the stops to beat him, like Canadian destroyers and stuff. Like he's got a pedestal to kind of be raised up on, and that's what they kind of need to do with Sammy and the newer talent, like the younger talent, like not just the dude from the Elite and the Bullet Club era, but just some people that need to elevate, and that's why I think having that sense of idea should work. And then I got my other thought is that the Sheeta versus Rosa Thunder Rosa match for the women's title, which I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be amazing, so I'm gonna give that a 10 out of 10 because I really think it's gonna be a fantastic match. I really do. I just don't think about Big Swole and Britt Baker. And I kind of love that Britt Baker and Big Swole are in a rivalry together because that kind of Reba's kind of a part of it. And I really feel like Reba's gonna interfere in that because at her job. Because I don't hate Dr. Britt Baker. I just don't like what they're doing with her. Because they're not really elevating her. She's kind of like Chris Statlander. She's kind of like everybody in the women's roster that are there. They're not really elevating them as they should. And the thing is, like, you pretty much have. Here's the thing. You pretty much have. You got Ali, and you got Brandy. You got them, and they're great, but they're not really. They're gonna end up winning the tag team titles. They're gonna end up winning those because I feel like they're gonna just they're like all they gotta really do, which is kind of sad, is that they're gonna probably be so dominant that nobody's gonna really be able to beat them. And I kind of want Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa to win those titles together because they actually both can do it. That means she would actually become double champion in AEW, which would be a perfect set because she's good. And then my other thought is that, like I said before, I think Thunder Rosa, Thunder Rosa should stay in AEW to kind of escalate their feud between her, and Sheeta because I want them to kind of do that. I kind of want to see where it's gonna go. So I think it could go either way. I think it'd be good for the storyline. I think it would be good for the storyline because it's building. It's a nice storyline. It's a nice medium heat storyline. It's like a chili. It's got a nice flavor. It's got a nice spice to it. It's got a nice bite. It's gonna work. It's gonna be so good that it works. That's the problem. It's gonna work itself out. That's what they really should be doing. They should be actually letting it flow because it's gonna work out. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.